My husband and I are in disagreement, in desperate need for different opinions. Good afternoon. For context, I am 34, my husband is 37. He has a brother Brad who is 25. Brad dated Kelsey, 24, for 10 years. They began dating when they were freshmen in high school. Their first date was actually my wedding. They were engaged for 2 years before Kelsey found out that Brad had cheated on her multiple times the year before, and was still in contact and sending lewd texts to the woman he cheated on her with. This all came out about 4 weeks ago. The entire family was devastated, and furious with Brad, who told Kelsey she could have the apartment and moved in with a friend over an hour and a half away. I think he just wanted to be far away from everything. It was weird because Kelsey was a part of the family for so long it was hard to just turn that off, and obviously we didn't. She's going through a really traumatic time and needs support. Even so, I think it does reach a point where the family has to separate from her, since the only connecting thing, Kelsey and Brad's relationship, is now gone. My husband, however, seems to think that since he's regarded Kelsey as a little sister for so long, she should be treated as such. I come home multiple times a week to her over the house. When I ask my husband about it, he says he'll text her and ask her how she's feeling, and if she says she's feeling down, he'll invite her over to cheer her up. A few nights ago she was over, and while I was putting the kids to bed, my husband offered her a drink and they began drinking downstairs at the bar in our den. I had a medical procedure the next morning. Nothing that was a big deal, but something I was supposed to be up and out early for. I didn't need my husband to come with me or anything, but I had mentioned that I would have liked if he would. He ended up offering the guest room to Kelsey, who was up and out early, and then slept in until an hour after I had come home. He has TikTok and just follows her, and a few other big accounts, but she's the only one he follows personally. The one thing I thought he did that I thought way overstepped, and what prompted me to have a conversation with him, is that the family is going on a 2-week vacation to Belize. The house is owned by my in-laws, so we go there often, and Kelsey has come many times. My husband invited her to come to this trip as well, which I think is odd since she is no longer dating Brad, who isn't coming on the vacation. When I had the conversation with my husband about how I thought he was crossing some boundaries with Kelsey, he got very defensive and said I was being heartless for wanting to just write Kelsey off. I tried to explain to him that I wasn't trying to write her off, but since she no longer had ties to the family, why would she come? If she began dating someone tomorrow, would we let her being her new partner? My husband and I have 2 very opposing standpoints here, and I'm trying to come up with a way to compromise. Edit. In no way do I mean cut her off. I think our family should show her we support her and are here for her. However, I think there are boundaries: drinking together at night causing him to miss my procedure, inviting her to vacation, being crossed. Also, to everyone who seems to have an issue with me thinking she will need to be distanced from the family, how do you think my brother-in-law and any other future partners of his will feel about her joining in on family vacations? Again, I think she is a lovely girl and I will enjoy remaining on friendly terms with her. I slept with my sister's best friend before I met my girlfriend, and now my girlfriend is very upset that we have to see her around occasionally. My girlfriend, female 25, and me, male 25, have been together over 1.5 years now. I told her that me and my sister's best friend had an on and off thing for a little over a year. We never formally dated, it was just hookups, and I ended things because it didn't feel right anymore, especially since it was my sister's best friend and we didn't tell my sister. I told my girlfriend about this very early on in our relationship, and although she wasn't particularly happy, she accepted it. It is also important to disclose that one time when me and my girlfriend were dating, which was still early on, probably 3 months, something kind of did happen. I was on Facebook and checked my sister's best friend's profile. I know, bad idea, and haven't since. Curiosity got the better of me. I accidentally tagged someone in one of my sister's best friend's photos, and then my sister's best friend messaged me on Facebook, seemingly try to reignite something. I just told my sister's best friend that I didn't mean to tag that and kept it very short. Then just blocked her on Facebook for my own good. I told my current girlfriend because it didn't sit right and I didn't want to live with it. It felt kind of wrong that this happened. My girlfriend again wasn't very happy, but was happy I told her. Anytime we know we might run into my sister's best friend, my girlfriend gets very frustrated with me and gets upset. I understand her frustration and I feel bad, but there isn't much I can do to avoid seeing her unless I want to miss out on my sister's birthday and my nephew's birthday. It's not very often we run into her or see her, maybe 3 times a year. I try to tell her we never dated and I didn't have feeling for my sister's best friend and that I regret it ever happening, but she doesn't feel any better. Should I feel guilty for this, and is there anything I can do to make this better? Any advice would be much appreciated. My girlfriend cheated on me with her ex for closure. Me, 24 female, and my girlfriend, 21 female, have been dating for a year. I'm her second girlfriend, and before me she dated this girl, 24, who was her first and shattered her heart. Even though they dated just for half a year and they didn't do anything. My girlfriend got very attached to her and still cares about her. That girl seriously messed her up, and I was there to pick her up and make her happy again, or so she says. So, after that girl dumped her, we started dating, and they two weren't in contact. My girlfriend wanted to, but her ex wasn't responsive. Last weekend, her ex texted her and asked to meet. My girlfriend agreed. I didn't like the idea, but she said that it'd be important to her as she needed closure and that it'd let her move on fully. So, they met. My girlfriend returned home, said that everything was fine and it was over, but she seemed a bit weird. A couple of days later she told me that she wanted to be honest and admitted that they kissed. My girlfriend initiated it. I got furious, because she had discussed many times that kissing is cheating. My girlfriend is saying that she and her ex never got to kiss when they were dating, and she just wanted to do it. Ever since they broke up, it's been bugging her all that time that they never kissed, and for some reason it was important to her. So she couldn't miss that chance after they talked and asked her ex if they could get their kiss. She's been crying asking for forgiveness ever since, saying that it's just a one-time thing and that she's the only person she'd kiss, just once, to be done with it, because without the kiss she doesn't feel like their relationship was ever real. I don't get it. Firstly, I hate her ex because I saw what she did to my girlfriend. Secondly, I feel like my girlfriend cheated on me and can't get rid of it. Maybe someone gives me an advice or helps me understand. I, 17 male, don't know how to tell my dad, 32 male, that my stepmom, 37 female, hates me. I have added the question and have also posted elsewhere as well. Hey, this might be long one, I'm sorry. There is a TLDR at the bottom. I really don't know what to do about my situation and I don't have anyone close to give me advice, so I thought here I can maybe get some advice. I have an amazing dad who raised me since my mom passed away when I was 5 years old. He is my friend, my supporter and someone who I want to be like when I grow up. When my dad first introduced my stepmom to me I was 10 years old and she was very nice to me and he looked so happy that we met and hoped we could get along. They got married when I was 13 and I was so happy that me and my dad had a new member in our family. I thought me and SM were getting along until I think a few months after their honeymoon she told me one morning that we just need to pretend to like each around my dad but when he is not here that I shouldn't bother her. Honestly this shattered me but I agreed cause I didn't know what else to do. After that day whenever it was just me and SM she would say things to get to me and I would just not say anything. I'm introverted and don't like confrontation so I just took it and thought over time she would get over it but it got worse. She would talk about my height and weight and say I was funny looking version of my dad. I hoped my dad would notice but he didn't. He actually thinks me and SM are so close and she understands me. He looks so happy with her that maybe it's worth not saying anything and giving it time. This year my SM has started picking on me around my dad and he has either joined in or ignored it. I have voiced that what she says makes me uncomfortable and hurts but my dad says she is teasing and doesn't mean it to hurt me. Well, right now I'm at my ends and I'm scared, I'm angry, frustrated at my SM and my dad. Dad was away for work and it was just me and SM at home. She had a party at home with a couple of her friends. I helped set the house up and cook dinner cause dad asked me to help out which was fine. After they ate and just hung out they were hanging out on the porch when I heard SM and her friends talk very loud outside my window while I was in my room. SM friends talked about how lucky SM was to have a nice husband and a house. When they mentioned how nice it was that I cooked for them SM told them that I was annoying and weird and she hated me and living with me and couldn't wait till I was 18 to kick me out. I was shocked that she hated me that much but I didn't know why. TBH I thought we were tolerating each other but to hate me I must have done something but I can't think of what I did. I've been kinda down since that day which was 2 weeks ago and I thought I was past the initial feelings but at rugby training today I bursted into tears and my coach sent me home so I drove to a beach and cried. I was feel so much I honestly can't describe my emotions. I eventually fell asleep in my car. Now I'm here hoping I can get advice on how to talk to my dad about it, cause I'm scared about how he will react. I don't want my dad to be sad cause he does so much for me but I'm not strong like him. I'm really struggling. My question is, How can I approach this conversation with my dad about my SM hating me? Or should I tell him at all? TLDR, I heard my SM tell her friend she hates me, and I want to tell my dad about it but don't know how. Edit. Someone questioned my dad's age and I'm sorry but it was supposed to be 42 but I can't change it, sorry. My 21 female boyfriend, 22 male, worries about my sexual history, and I don't know what to do anymore. For context, I have been with my boyfriend for 9 months. I have a pretty high body count. However, before him, I took a lot of time to myself that year to go through therapy and seek help because of experiences with past people that gave me trauma. More specifically, I was involved with 2 people much older than me when I was still a minor and the relationships were very toxic. I have borderline personality disorder and for a long time I saw seeking out sex with people that were bad for me as a form of self-harm, and something I did when I was impulsive and would feel upset or guilt about later. Additionally, the summer before I met him I was assaulted, so sex was off the table for me. Moral of the story, I have had a complicated history with sex, and going into my relationship with him I was really proud of the progress I made in no longer using sex as a negative outlet, and getting over my trauma. When I met him and we got to know each other, I told him about my relationship history and being assaulted, as well as the work I did to work on my trauma. And when he inquired about my body count I answered his questions. He seemed to be fine with it and proud of the progress I made. However, after we had sex for the first time things seemed to take a turn. My boyfriend and I share similar views on hookup culture and sex now. I realized hookup culture just isn't for me due to my experiences and my assault. Before meeting him I had done a lot of work to make sure the next person I did it with was someone I really cared for. However, obviously that wasn't always my view on it. This is where the issues began. He says that despite how I went to therapy, that my old experiences are incredibly concerning. For a long time after we would have sex, I'd be bombarded with questions afterwards, making sure I wasn't comparing, that I wasn't thinking about anyone else, etc. I have always been patient with his needs for reassurance, but this far into our relationship I am getting concerned. He will ask me multiple times a week, I'm the best you've been with, right? You won't ever hook up with anyone else, right? Or when I suggest trying something new he will ask if I've done it with anyone else. He will frequently ask if I enjoyed anything in the past, and the one time I said I didn't hate every single sexual experience I've had, he kinda freaked out on me. Saying he was disappointed, hurt, etc. Sometimes in our discussions I'm left re-explaining multiple times my complicated prior relationship with sex, how much he helped me be comfortable with sex again, how he's the best and how much I want to do everything with him. It just hurts because I've been explaining all of this for months now and there are still times where I feel like he doesn't understand, that traumatizing experiences I had were almost my fault, and that I need to apologize for my experiences. He claims that isn't his intention with these discussions, but I can't help but feeling like my past is a huge stain on our relationship. It's worth noting that he has made a lot of progress. He went to therapy for a while, and has been working hard to move on from stuff. But a lot of the things that worry me about this situation still stand for the most part. Things I said a month into our relationship about the past that he didn't like are still brought up at times and I apologize. Him saying he doesn't feel special sometimes when we have sex because of my past. He says he feels worried and insecure about sex because I am his first but I've had experience with sex before him, so I don't want to rush or put a timeline on his healing. He acknowledges it's a catch-22, it's nothing I did directly, it's just that he has his own issues. I love my boyfriend so much, and honestly I don't know what to do. He's made a lot of progress and our relationship is so wonderful. I really don't mind giving reassurance. I guess my question is how should I better help him? Is this something that I should be really worried about? I, male 35, am very unattractive and have made peace with being alone. My friends, female 30s, won't give up on trying to set me up with someone. What do I do? Hey everybody. I am hoping to get some advice on my current predicament between myself and my friends Sam and Sarah. You see, I am very unattractive. I don't mean that as a put down on myself but an objective fact about my appearance. I have a very naturally unappealing face with several body scars that make me difficult to look at for some people. I've had most of these scars most of my life and of course I was born with my face so I've never been much to look at. I have tried to compensate in other aspects of life. I have a decent job, I'm tall, and I'm in very good shape. I go to the gym and eat well. Sadly this is far from enough to make up for how I look. I have had very few relationships and only one sexual partner, though I'd prefer it had never happened after the fact, though I certainly tried. Put myself out there for years and was rejected by dozens of women before meeting one that I thought would be able to look past my appearance. I lost my virginity to her and everything, but after a month she came to my place crying and saying though she found me attractive as a person she couldn't get over my appearance and had felt terrible. She confessed sex with me was extremely difficult the 2 times we did it due to how I looked. I told her I understood and we went our separate ways. I'd have been happier if we'd been friends and never dated if I'm being honest. That was several years ago and I swore off romantic love and sex since it was just hurting me. Life has been pretty good since I gave up. Wish I wasn't what I am so I could find love, but I get it. I made some great friends, Sam and Sarah. Been friends with them for a few years now and we get along great. The only issue is that they are in relationships and have this fantasy about going on triple dates with me included. Problem is of course I don't date and so they have been trying to play matchmaker. There have been probably 7 or 8 attempts now to get me with some friend or acquaintance of theirs, ranging from being blindsided with a date when I thought I'd just be there with them or inviting girls to parties and trying to get us together all night. I hate it. I feel bad for these girls because obviously they weren't told about this either and now they have to play nice with the weird ugly guy their friends dumped them on. Not only that, but there is this look in their eyes that I'm sadly used to now. It's a combination of sadness and fear that overcomes them when we make eye contact. I can feel them looking at every mark on my face, getting more and more grossed out and uncomfortable. Of course they're scared. This 6'6" man who looks like Frankenstein's monster has become your date for the night. I'd be scared too. I tell them every time not to set me up as I don't want to date, but they get so excited to finally find the one for me that they do it anyway. So backstory aside, I keep telling Sam and Sarah to stop setting me up. And last week they came over to hang out and Sarah kept mentioning this friend of hers from work and starts showing me pictures. I see where this is all going and when I find out they invited her to Sam's party in a few weeks. I say cool, I look forward to meeting her, but this isn't a date and I won't be letting them push me onto the poor girl. She's cute and from what they tell me I'm sure we'd get along great if I were normal, but that just isn't the case. Sarah begins to get upset at me and asks me why I won't just give her a shot, so I asked if this girl had even seen a picture of me or heard about me. She admitted that she had not and hadn't planned on showing her my pic or even telling her about me until the night of the party. I'll admit I snapped and told both of them to stop playing matchmaker. I was sick of it and showed them texts from 2 of the girls they victimized. They were kind enough to tell me they liked me but weren't physically attracted to me. Showed the texts and Sarah and Sam made an excuse and left. Haven't heard from them in a week. How can I fix this? I've made my peace with the fact that I will never know romantic love. But I need friends.